In this video, we'll go over all of the WoW news from the past week and try to compress it into a bite-sized video. The weekly event for this week is Pet Battles, aka the best weekly event. Since we are in the lull between expansions, this is the perfect opportunity to try them out, as this is kind of what they were made for. Although, I know many of you are proud at the fact that you've never tried Pet Battles, a pride I don't understand personally. How can so many people be proud over not trying something? But whatever the case, I'll link a video at the end of this one going over the best pets to level first, if you do want to start out. Also, the world boss for this week is Levantis, who drops nothing special. There's a PvP brawl this week, which is Terran Mill versus South Shore, and the Archaeology bi-weekly is still the useless one for the very low eye level relic. In other news, the new Warcraft novel Before the Storm came out today, which will go over the events in between Legion and before the start of Battle for Azeroth. A lot of the story was already leaked about a month ago or so, but not all of it. I'm currently in the middle of the book myself, and I'll have more to talk about next week when I actually finish it. Blizzard announced the rewards for the new achievements of getting 100 Exalt reputations and the one for getting 400 mounts. The 100 Exalted reps was basically a slightly more transparent version of the Guild Phoenix mount, and the 400 mount achievement was just a red Hearthsteed mount. Players were really bashing Blizzard hard for the recolor mount rewards of two very easy to obtain mounts being the prize for getting two very hard achievements, with the Phoenix mount especially getting bashed as it's basically the same thing. So Blizzard changed the rewards to both mounts to recolors of other harder to get mounts instead. Now the achievement for 100 reps is a blue unicorn, and the reward for 400 mounts is the green firehawk. Also, both are now ground mount rewards, whereas the previous two could fly, with many calling these changes downgrades to the previous rewards, which people didn't like in the first place. The Kul Tiran Druid flight form was announced last week as well, and it looks like a skeleton monster bird thing, which is pretty neat. The only form not yet shown is what the boomkins will look like, so expect that soon. Blizzard announced that BFA will launch at the same time across the globe, instead of at certain specific times relevant for the regions they will be launched in. As someone who lives in a state right next to Blizzard headquarters, the times of Blizzard things have always been convenient for me, so it doesn't affect me very much. But what I think this means for other people in parts of the world is that you'll be getting to play the expansion sooner, even if at weird times like 6 a.m. And lastly, Blizzard has stated that towards the end of Legion, they will let the Mage Towers be up at all times before it goes away forever, which means you'll have a lot more time to get the appearances if you've been putting them off on your main, or more time to work on them for your ults. As someone who's completed all of the challenges on 3 classes, 2 of which being ults I've never touched during the expansion, here's a few pieces of advice if you want to try them out. To make sure the challenges go smoothly, you want to get at least a 920 item level, but 930 is preferable. This can be achieved rather easily through LFR gear alone. Look up the guides on Wowhead for your class's artifact challenge. They have tons of really good information. I'd never played a sub-rogue or an arcane mage all expansion, and yet I was able to complete both of those specs challenges the same day I attempted them for the first time, by following the guides, reading up how the basic rotation worked, and then putting it into my DPS add-ons, and by going into LFR once to practice my rotation. Also, my eye level on both of them was 920 and 930 respectively. All that to say, mastery of your spec is not really needed, as my main is a healing priest. Just knowing the basics and following Wowhead's guides goes a very long way when completing the challenges. Also, gear. The more gear you have, the easier it is. Channel update. I got a lot of suggestions for changing the intro. Most of it was just leave it as it is because it doesn't really matter, and I kind of agree with that sentiment, but there was also a lot of pretty good suggestions too, which I might use in the future. I'm not really sure yet. And with that, I'll see you all next week.